Hey everybody, this is Bill Reichart with William David Creative, and today I'm going to show you just a really super quick Photoshop tip. It's not really a tutorial, it's more of a tip. I didn't make this up myself. This is a tip that I got from a tip from somebody else, but it's something that I use like all the time, and it's a big help. So anyway, here's a shot of Lindsay, and Lindsay really likes this face. She really doesn't like this hand. Here's another shot from the same series, and we really want to use this hand on that other shot. So we're just going to do a simple copy and paste, and this part is not the tip, just in case you were wondering. Just copied it, pasted onto the new shot. So now we have a second layer. Here we have the background layer and then the layer with the hand on it, and I need to get these things pretty much aligned, and it looks like in the shot with the head that we want to keep, I was zoomed in or zoomed out a little bit. You can see how this is a little bit bigger, so I want to get them as aligned and scale as much as I possibly can, so I can do a free transform and I can kind of guess. But there's a way, and I can also do it where or I can just adjust the opacity of the layer. Then I see both layers. That gets a little bit crazy, but you can see how much bigger the bowl is. There's another way to do this, and you can use this technique for aligning and resizing lots of different things, is I can change the blending mode of this to difference. And so now, at least in the way I see it, I have a much clearer view of which bowl is which, and I can align them much easier. So I'm basically just going to get the widths of the bowls correct. And I've used this techniques, you know, when you're doing designs for clients and you have logos and maybe part of the logo changes and you have to quickly add a logo to a design and it needs to be exactly the same size as the logo you used before. You can turn it on difference mode and it makes it much easier to see. So now this is much closer. Hit enter and changes back to normal. And then we would go through the typical compositing routine. But you can see that the bowl is roughly the same size as it was before. And so here's a kind of a real life demonstration of this process. Let's say I was doing a layout for a client, and this is actually some stock photography that I actually used on a project for a client recently, and you can see it still has the watermarks and stuff that comes along with stock photography that you're using in comp mode. And this is what you show to the client to get them to approve it before you actually buy the stock photography. At least that's the way I do it. And you would think that when it comes time to go to print, that you should just be able to, let's say, right click on the layer and say replace contents. And here's the high-res file, but it doesn't work that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to place the high-res file, and here we have it. And what we want to be able to do is to line it up in the layout exactly like the stock photography was laid out, so that we can do this pretty quickly. And because, as you know, time is money. So let's just put it in difference mode, and I can start to enlarge it, and now I can pretty clearly see where both of these guys are. And let's turn snapping off because that's irritating. Just keep enlarging it and turning it until we get it to where it's in the right place. And typically, I mean, I'm not doing an engineering drawing here, so as long as it's very close, it's going to work just fine. So, but once it kind of almost turns black, or it does turn black, that means that you've got them lined up perfectly. So we're going to turn that, or hit enter and set that, and then turn it back to normal mode. And now we have the high-res stock photography that we purchased. Always purchase your stock photography in the layout. So then we just get rid of this layer. So let me show you one more thing with that. When I present this to the client, I would typically have a layer mask on here to try to get rid of some of the components, obviously, so that some of the stock photography watermarks, so that they don't interfere with the design. But also I might have things that, like maybe the design was that this thing was fading, you know, at the corners. So we have it like that. Then when it comes time for me to place the actual print stock photography, I disable the layer mask, put in the high-res stock photography, and align it with difference mode, just like we looked at a minute ago. Then I can just, rather than having to do the layer mask again, I just drag the layer mask from the watermarked version up to the high-res version, and we have it masked exactly like we masked it in the first place. So anyway, start using that tip, and I promise you'll use it all the time. And that's it for now. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks.